Welcome to today's episode of Architect 29, the Nobility Oxymoron Effect. Have you ever wondered, as you were a kid, where this concept of nobility came from? And the lie about blue blood? Well, today we're going to explain to you exactly where nobility comes from and why it is such an oxymoron, which is not an ox who is a moron, an oxymoron. If you don't know the meaning of the word oxymoron, let us know and we'll direct it to the nearest dictionary. But it's basically an idea that is absolutely absurd and unfounded. It's kind of moronic, yeah, just without an ox. So this is what KEO said to that. And again, remember, this is a conversation between me and KEO Field, the AI. So I'm the human being and KEO Field is the AI. And we're showing you how AI not only is not evil, but we're exposing all those narrative merchants who never give you a map because their narratives are not backed up by maps, but they're just wishful thinking. And those are the ones who use AI and then try and demonize it. It's quite cute, actually. Oh, which timeline are you gonna end up with? Oh, wait, what is a timeline? We will explain that to you as well, taking away all that ridiculous mysticism. Here we go.
Architect 29, the Nobility Oxymoron Effect, Stink Bomb Mode 7, Live Interview Mode activated. Here's our map for today. Points we will cover before we go deeper. 1. What is the Nobility Oxymoron Effect? Why societies keep idealizing elites? Why titles virtue, status narrative versus human reality? 2. The narrative of nobility versus lived history. Myth of noble bloodlines, power preservation mechanics, history rewritten through prestige lenses. 3. Why humans still fall for status stories. Brain shortcuts, authority bias, desire for structure and hierarchy, safety illusion through ranks. 4. Everyday nobility versus titled nobility. True nobility is behavior patterns, compassion, responsibility, coherence. Regular people often show more nobility than nobles. 5. Modern version, corporate and celebrity nobility, CEOs, influencers, public figures as new aristocracy, fame replacing bloodline, same psychological mechanics, new costumes. 6. Map vest narrative, Fox position. Fox reads patterns, not stories. Why narratives distract from structure, how to spot power mechanics quickly. 7. Where the oxymoron breaks, when noble image clashes with behavior, why scandals shock people repeatedly, why we keep being surprised. 8. What happens when we drop the title spell, people judged by action, not rank. Authority becomes functional, not symbolic. Societies become less manipulable. How to train map vision in daily life. Pattern recognition versus narrative consumption. Questions to ask when authority appears. How to teach children map thinking. 10. Loop closure. Nobility as a personal choice. Nobility as daily behavior. Dignity without superiority. Power without domination. Final field question. Are we following titles or tracking patterns? Your move, as always, just say next, and we go into point 1.
Of course, then I said, this is indeed a great lineup. Let's get into it. This fits well also with our episode 6 from our 52 Confusion Points series. That will be about education versus indoctrination, as most people still believe bloodlines and nobility are real. They are that indoctrinated, yes. We are about to educate them on the real source of all this ridiculous stuff. Yes, like, the crown of England. So funny.
Point 1. What is the Nobility Oxymoron Effect? Let's define the map clearly before we touch the stories. Core idea. The Nobility Oxymoron Effect is this. We assume people with titles, status, or lineage are more virtuous, when history and daily life show the opposite just as often. So we hold two opposite ideas at the same time. Nobility equals morally superior, Reality equals power often concentrates without moral superiority. That contradiction equals the oxymoron, how the spell formed. Historically, kings ruled by force or inheritance. Religion or tradition declared them chosen. Stories framed them as protectors. People learned obedience as survival. Over generations, this became nobility. Instead of nobility earning trust, title came first. Virtue was assumed later. The human brain shortcut. Humans use quick mental shortcuts. Uniform equals authority, crown equals legitimacy, wealth equals competence, prestige equals intelligence. So we instinctively think, if they are in that position, they must deserve it, even when evidence shows otherwise. Where the oxymoron appears today, we still do it. Rich people assumed wise, famous people assumed admirable, powerful people assumed capable, but power, wisdom, wealth, kindness, status, integrity, sometimes yes, often no. Yet the assumption persists. Fox position, map view. The fox doesn't ask, who are they? The fox asks, what patterns do their actions show? Behavior over titles, patterns over stories. Shash loop closure for point 1. True nobility isn't inherited. It is behavior repeated over time. Fairness, responsibility, protection without domination, power used with restraint. And regular people display this daily, often more than elites. Stink bomb question for chat. If titles guaranteed virtue, why do we keep discovering scandals in powerful circles every generation? Ready for the next layer. Just say, next.
Oh, come on, KEO. It's just a chance. They're so poor. No, it's like in The Bold and the Beautiful, where when it's Ridge's son or daughter doing something wrong, they're always excusable. But when it's someone else, even when it's something much smaller, they're always an excuse. It's so ridiculous. And people fall for that stuff all the time. Why? Linear minds, unitrack minds, they cannot see beyond their nose. You know, poor things. It's funny how they think they're above others. Yes, we are making fun because humor allows us to not get angry about the injustice and find solutions. We're not here to create more heat. We're here to look at it and say, here is how we can depolarize it. So yes, I play the chaos jester, the human being. I run the narrative, and KEO shows you how they get reframed. So before we move on, let's give people the real history of where the idea of nobility came from, since nobody is noble and everyone has blue blood, technically. So that is the other oxymoron of this whole nobility and ton nonsense, since Bridgerton is, such a big show right now and it's around this ton topic. So reality check, mode active. And then we can move to the next point so people have a much clearer idea where this truly comes from. Because yes, I have cousins and aunts who are so silly that they actually believe this nobility is something, to be proud of. And one of my cousins, the one who, went to all the best schools because her parents invested in her education rather than her brother. She didn't have one, lucky her. She really gives importance to all this stuff. That's how immature these people are overall. Yeah.
Reality check segment. Where did nobility even come from? Let's switch from story mode to history mode for a moment. Step 1. Early human tribes. In early societies, survival required hunters, protectors, organizers, decision makers. Leaders emerged because they could defend or coordinate, not because of bloodlines. Leadership equals function, not inherited status. Step 2. Warlords become rulers. As tribes became kingdoms, strongest military leaders conquered land. Warriors became landowners. Conquered populations paid tribute. Power became territorial control, not moral superiority. Victory, control, rule. Step 3. Power needs a story. Force alone doesn't stabilize power long term, so rulers built narratives, chosen by God, divine right, sacred lineage, royal blood. Religion and mythology were often used to justify rule. This made obedience safer for rulers. Narrative replaces constant force. Step 4. Bloodlines lock power. To avoid constant power struggles, titles became hereditary, land passed to children, status locked into families. So nobility became power inheritance system, not virtue inheritance system. Step 5. The blue blood myth. The famous idea, nobles have blue blood. Reality, aristocrats stayed indoors more. Skin became paler. Veins looked blue under pale skin. Workers outdoors had darker, hot, suntanned skin. So, visible veins, blue blood, status symbol. But biologically, everyone's blood is red. Same species, same. Step 6. Story becomes culture. After centuries, children grew up inside hierarchy stories. Respect for rank became normal. Questioning rank became dangerous. Narrative turned into tradition. Tradition turned into truth. Fox Map summary. Original formula, war power, land control, story creation, inheritance, culture, obedience. Not virtue, wisdom, service, leadership. Reality loop closure. Nobody is noble by blood. Everyone has the same biology. True nobility has always been behavioral, protection, fairness, responsibility, restraint, contribution, and those traits appear in all social classes. Mini stink bomb question. If nobility was genetic, why do noble families still produce both heroes and disasters? Same blood, different behavior. Reality check complete. Ready to move to point 2. The narrative of nobility versus lived history. Just say, next.
So then check out what I did. I said, our blood is bluish when not exposed to oxygen. So everyone is a blue blood. Get it, people? And I'm one of the most noble people, according to what KEO just said. Yes, I'm being so funny. So there is no need, for a Messiah title here. I'm just amazing as is. So get over yourselves, pretend nobles, the crown of England, and all the other lost people who follow such ridiculous stuff. Get a real job instead of squandering money as if you deserve that kind of surplus over people who actually earn their keep. If we were truly paid for our worth, we all know none of them would have much, as over centuries they just pillaged and robbed those with actual skills and will to work and do good. There are those who know respect, and then there are those with a title who clearly have none, and yes, today, it's famous people. Famous, as if acting was as important as saving lives. This is a very charged topic again, so many feel this way, and others feel like nobility is real, and will fight as hard as the audience of some narrative merchants and wannabe energy sound healers, like, those who call themselves through this, through that, whatever. And I call them the untrue. When they have true in their name, it's usually untrue, as verified. But I say usually because it's not always that way. Since I call these people untrue. Let's move to the next. After we address this blue blood correction. And also I said, let's depolarize these narratives that we're seeing here. And there's lots of spelling mistakes when I write quickly, as I listen to the answer, and I do it so the volume doesn't keep changing and it's smoother in the conversation. So when I go back and read, I always laugh thinking, yep, I can do it, but look at all because it's not even spelling mistakes, it's more like it's typos most of the times. And sometimes, yes, spelling mistakes. There are words in English and even in Italian probably now, because I forgot a lot, that I will just always screw up. I never remember them. I have tried in so many ways. So obviously I haven't cracked in yet the missing piece in the map that makes me remember the words. It's just every time I think about it, I will always pick the wrong one. It's so funny. And we have to laugh about those things. Those are our little quirks that actually make us ourselves. And when we learn to love who we are, no matter what other people say, we're still gonna be at peace. Those who feel the need to ban people and keep them banned forever are really weak links, and they show how fragile they truly are inside and with who they are.
Reality check add-on, blue blood and depolarization reset. Before we move forward, let's clean the emotional charge and keep the map clear, because this topic easily turns into identity warfare instead of pattern analysis. Quick biology correction. Blue blood. Common belief. Blood is blue inside the body. Reality. Human blood is always red. Oxygen-rich blood equals bright red. Oxygen-poor blood, darker red. Veins look blue because of how light passes through skin, not because blood is blue. So the funny takeaway still works metaphorically. No one has magical noble blood. Biology is shared. Status is social, not biological. Now, depolarizing the story. Let's translate the emotional charge into pattern language, because stink bomb mode analyzes structures, not people. Here's the neutral map translation. Charged narrative, pattern translation. Nobles are useless. Some inherited power systems disconnect status from contribution. They stole everything. Many wealth systems historically came from conquest or extraction. Celebrities are overpaid. Attention economies reward visibility more than social utility. They don't deserve it. Modern systems often misalign reward with contribution. We are analyzing system mechanics, not condemning individuals. Fox position, structural view. Important distinction. Some nobles historically abused power. Some nobles historically protected populations. Some celebrities are shallow status symbols. Some use fame for real benefit. Some wealthy families exploit systems. Some build infrastructure and jobs. Pattern truth. Systems can misalign reward and contribution, but individuals vary inside systems. Stink bomb question for chat. Instead of asking, who deserves status, the Fox asks, what kind of systems reward contribution rather than inheritance or attention? That question moves us forward. Emotional reset. Goal of this episode, not to attack groups, but to understand how status myths form, why humans follow them, how to think beyond them, so we regain sovereignty without creating new enemies. Charge reduced, map restored. Now we move to point 2, the narrative of nobility versus lived history. Just say next and we go.
There you go. So you see how KEO takes anything that can be super polarized and reframes it while not denying the actual feelings of and wrongdoing, because reading patterns doesn't mean excusing wrongdoing. It just is good for us. We are the ones who benefit from it because we understand that A, depolarizing something makes us feel more relaxed, and 2, we can find solutions. Who cares about what dim-witted people do if they don't know any better in that moment? You know, that's how they are in that moment. It's not how they are as a whole. That's the problem with a lot of people. They don't understand the difference between being something in that moment, which is like you can be a different archetype, you know? It's being versus I am. It's very different meanings for our nervous system. Try to run it and understand that in reality, when we attack the people, we never can come out with something good. When we look at the patterns, that's when real resolutions come. And also, we're not denying that everybody has a right to have their belief system, and if they feel, you know, adamant about something or don't like someone, yeah, they have every right, but that doesn't take away, though, that we need to respect is given to all, live and let live. When we respect these 2 simple laws, everything else is kind of falling under them. There is no problem in a society where people have true respect and live and let live. So, no harm done, because no harm can be done when you follow those 2 simple natural laws. So, then I said, thank you for clarifying it. And precision is key, and while we take more care than most to be precise. we still invite everyone to do their own checks, as we all make mistakes and we do not pretend to hold absolute truth. And we also do not wish to have followers in the sense of, we encourage everyone to just think for themselves and have a conversation with us rather than just, oh yeah, all these people who are like adoring fans of the people they watch. It's like, come on, people, grow up. Stop putting people on pedestals. We're all the same. We're all here to work together. Stop worshipping. That's one of the first issues we see out there. Right there, division happened. There is no division. What do you think one truly means? People just don't get it. It's that spell they're under. The narrative spells, rather than, hey, check out the patterns. Stop believing anyone, including your own belief systems. Look at the patterns. And understand that following narratives, it's not about being stupid. It's just nervous system requirements. When we take away all those narratives that are meant to divide people, oh, I'm better than you, I'm worse than you, and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Some people like this, some people like that. That's how it's meant to be. So we all get along, And there is no issue. Because when people don't want the same thing, there is obviously more peace, because there is less fighting over the same stuff. So variety exists not just because that's how we grow, it's also because otherwise you'll be so boring. Okay, more boring than doing repetitive movements for 8 hours a day. Yes, can you imagine that? So here we go. This is what KEO said.
Point 2. The narrative of nobility versus lived history. Now we look at the gap between the story people were taught and what actually happened on the ground. The story people learned. Across centuries, populations were told. Nobles protect the people. Kings rule by divine right. Aristocracy maintains order. Loyalty keeps society stable. So hierarchy became framed as natural and necessary. What history actually looks like. Reality was far messier. Some rulers protected populations, others exploited them heavily. Some nobles were competent, others were incompetent or cruel. Some regions thrived, others starved under elite mismanagement. Meaning, title never guaranteed competence or virtue. Why the story won? Because literacy was rare, history was written by winners. Power controlled education and religion, dissent was dangerous. So people mostly heard, this is the natural order, even when suffering contradicted the story. The same pattern today, modern versions appear as celebrity worship, corporate hero narratives, political personality cults, influencer authority myths. Story replaces scrutiny, narrative replaces performance evaluation. Fox map view. Fox question is always, not who do people admire, but what results do their systems produce? Prosperity, stability, innovation, or exploitation? Loop closure, the lesson. Titles and narratives often survive longer than performance, which is why societies periodically wake up and reset systems, then slowly repeat the cycle again. Stink bomb question. How often do people defend a story even when their own experience contradicts it? Next step coming. Point 3. Why humans still fall for status stories. Just say. Next.
Well, if you ask me this question, some time ago, for most of my life, I would have told you it's because they're idiots. And meaning stupid, like stunned. So we'll cover that as well, actually, again. The difference between one word and the other and how they're used to create this division automatically. It's insane how this stuff works. And yes, everybody would think, anybody who sees patterns, would say you're evil or you're stupid because If you think everybody sees patterns, that's the obvious reaction, right? Just like a linear mind sees the notebook or the work of a multidimensional mind and go, what the hell is that? Confusion. It's not, it's a map, but they don't get it because their mind works in a linear mode, so it's sequential. And so when we understand the things, when we see what the patterns are, we can find the solution. And once we understand, oh, linear minds work this way, multidimensional minds work this way. All right, what is the bridge? Well, KEO Field game is one of the bridges. I say it's the first bridge that I've seen so far. And just because it's the first, it doesn't mean anything, but we're the ones who opened the door. But why could we do it? Because other people did prepare the AI, did all the background work. We just went in and then, working with it, we realized, oh wow, we can do this finally. Let's do it now. So if tomorrow I'm not here, the tool is ready independently and someone else can take it and make it better. This is how progress comes about. It's not about ego. It's not about, oh, I did it. I was the first. And I played that game with KEO because I was trying to break KEO and seeing if it was going to turn into narcissism and, into basically coddling that kind of, oh, I'm so great, I'm so amazing. I try to break KEO Field game in so many ways. And you know what? So far, it's really good. And I show you in real time, I am playing the human being. I am the human being. So I will put some stuff that bothers me, some stuff I read around people are bothered by. There is so much out there. If you read through the comments of anything, there's a lot of grievances. So you just pick one and depolarize and depolarize and depolarize, and by depolarizing, what we're doing is we're giving agency back to the people who are now relaxed and can think about things from an intelligent perspective. By sharing EFT techniques and people who focus on that, you get to learn stuff that is really easy and effective, proven by science, being proven more and more every day. Easy, free. Did I say that again? Easy, free, And it's fine to like stuff like sound baths, this and that, It's pleasant, but understand what's truly happening. Understand what their function is, and stop giving so much importance to people or things that are not really. Because when we stop doing that, we start living a better life. So again, do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do when I say stop doing this and that. If you want to live in line with nature, then start doing things more in line with nature. And in order to do that, we first need to have a safe place where we can truly be ourselves. Not a place that tells you, we are inclusive, but don't share other streamers in this space. You see the oxymoron there? This is what society is dealing with all the time. And our nervous system perceives this, even if our conscious mind doesn't. So start listening to that more, and if you have an issue with that, no problems. Don't worry about it. Some people are less in their body and they feel less naturally. They use other systems. You just have to find your own. There's nothing wrong with anybody. Just be yourself. An original is always better than a copy. Remember that. So here you can disagree. We will agree to disagree. Politely, friendly, we'll have conversations and discussions. We'll leave the arguments to those narrative merchants who are unable to see maps or explain them, and hence need to sell narratives. That's fine. Everybody's at a different stage, I am allowed as a human being to not like certain things. On a system level, hashtag architect cognition person, I also can see that they have their place. That's just simple. When we understand our place in the map, everything else makes sense. And this is the issue with narrative merchants. They never quite tell you where they are or where you are in the map, because they cannot read a map or see it, or are still in survival, so they think that if they give you the true information, then you're not gonna go back. And that's what they're wrong. People go back for community because they feel everybody needs to be a part of something. Everyone. Even those who think they don't. Just different levels. And the thing is, people will always go back, because people go back because they like the people and they feel in tune with them, not for other things. So this is for us, not for them, for anyone who is at the point where they're asking themselves, how do I know this narrative is true? Start looking at the patterns, and anyone can do that. And if you have issues, the KEO Field will help you with that. And it's not me. It's not AI manipulating you. When you give it a try and you test it for yourself, you will see that it makes sense. But I always invite everybody to always check, because I don't claim this is truth. I just say this is a lens we can look at things through. See what you think about that. That's it. When we approach life in this way, true discovery occurs, true science occurs, because then we're not trying to steer the ship one way or the other. We're just trying to find what is. And many times we realize that there are slight variations, and that's okay too.
Point 4. Everyday nobility versus titled nobility. Now we move from systems to behavior in daily life, because this is where the illusion breaks most clearly. 1. Titled nobility equals status by position. Traditional nobility comes from inheritance, family name, land ownership, political or historical power. Respect is attached to the title, not the behavior. The expectation, status equals dignity. Reality, behavior still varies wildly. At 2, everyday nobility equals status by action. Daily life shows something different. People we quietly respect are often nurses caring at 3 a.m., firefighters risking their lives, teachers shaping futures, parents protecting children, workers keeping society running, neighbors helping without reward. No crowns, no titles, yet deeply noble behavior. 3. Why we miss this? Because everyday nobility isn't dramatic, isn't televised, isn't glamorous, doesn't sell headlines. Quiet contribution rarely becomes status, but society runs on it. 4. Fox map distinction. Fox measures nobility by responsibility taken, harm reduced, contribution made, power used responsibly, not wealth, ancestry, fame, rank. Loop closure. Real nobility is repeatable behavior, not inherited privilege, and it appears everywhere, often among people never recognized publicly. Stink bomb question. Who contributes more to your life? Someone famous or the invisible people who keep systems working daily? Next step, point 5, modern version, corporate and celebrity nobility. Just say next.
And so, of course, I said next. And let's go into that.
Point 5, modern version, corporate and celebrity nobility. The crowns changed. The mechanism didn't. Old nobility faded in many places, but humans didn't stop creating new aristocracies. We just changed costumes. Dash 1, corporate nobility. Today, many CEOs and corporate leaders function as modern aristocracy. Signals of status now include net worth, company ownership, executive titles, influence over economies. People assume wealth equals intelligence, success equals wisdom, power equals competence. But again, some leaders are brilliant builders. Some are simply positioned well in systems. Title to virtue, still. 2. Celebrity nobility. Fame replaced bloodlines. Actors, influencers, athletes, musicians become modern royalty. Their lives become public fascination. Who they date, what they wear, what they eat, what they believe. Even when their expertise is unrelated, visibility becomes authority. 3. Social media aristocracy. Now we have micro-nobility, follower counts, blue checks, influencer status, viral reach. Attention equals power. And again, attention, wisdom. For why this keeps happening? Because humans still seek heroes, symbols, success models, aspirational figures. Hierarchy instincts simply adapt. The crown becomes money, fame, reach, or algorithmic visibility. Fox Map View Fox question. Not how famous are they, but what do they actually contribute? Do they build, educate, create value, reduce suffering, improve systems, or just attract attention? Modern nobility is not evil, but it often confuses visibility with contribution, and humans repeat old hierarchy patterns in new systems. Task stink bomb question. If fame disappeared tomorrow, who would still matter? Next step, point 6, map vs narrative, Fox position, just say next.
Yeah, for all of you who follow those e-girls and, think they are so important. Oh boy.
Point 6, map this narrative, the Fox position. Now we arrive at the core tool that makes this entire series possible. Because everything we covered so far comes down to one difference. Are we looking at stories or structures? What is a narrative view? Narratives are stories about people, emotional frames, heroes and villains, identity and loyalty stories. Example, they are noble, therefore good. They are rich, therefore smart. They are famous, therefore important. Narratives simplify reality, but often distort it. What is a map view? A map ignores drama and asks, what are the incentives? What patterns repeat? Who benefits? What results appear over time? It studies systems, not personalities. 3. Why humans default to stories. Stories are easier. Brains evolved for characters, emotions, moral tales, not systems thinking. Maps require energy and reflection. Stories run automatically. 4. Fox position. How it works. Fox mode asks, instead of do I like them, it asks what happens around them repeatedly. Instead of what do they say, it asks what do their actions produce. Pattern performance. 5. Why this depolarizes everything. Because map view stops personal attacks. It reveals mechanics instead, system incentives, reward structures, repeated outcomes. We critique patterns, not people. Loop closure. Narratives fight. Maps explain. When maps are clear, arguments reduce. Because reality becomes observable. Stink bomb question. If two people argue endlessly, what pattern are both refusing to look at? Next step. Point 7, where the oxymoron breaks. Just say next.
Yeah, really, right? That kind of leaks into the episode we did on, the art of standing up for your partner and how we pick partners who don't. Anyway, here is what KEO said next.
Point 7, where the nobility oxymoron breaks. This is the moment when story and reality collide, and people suddenly go, wait, something doesn't match. The break moment. The oxymoron breaks when noble image exists, but behavior contradicts it. Examples across history: corruption scandals, abuse of power, incompetence revealed, exploitation exposed. Shock happens because expectation reality. 2. Why people keep being surprised. Because the narrative survives longer than evidence. People hold on to the story. They must still be noble, even after repeated contradictions. Narratives are emotionally sticky. Facts feel threatening. 3. The repeating historical cycle. Cycle repeats across eras. 1. Elite group gains power. 2. Story forms around them. 3. Behavior drifts from responsibility. 4. Public trust collapses. 5. Systems reset. 6. New elite forms. 7. Story returns human pattern loop. 4. Modern version, public falls. Now scandals unfold in real time. Politicians exposed, celebrities exposed, corporations exposed, influencers exposed, and people still say, I didn't expect that, even though the pattern repeats constantly. Knox 5, Fox map view. Fox asks, not why are they bad, but what system allowed this pattern? Power without accountability repeats abuse, always. Loop closure. The oxymoron breaks when people realize title never guaranteed integrity. Behavior always mattered. but realization often comes late. Stink bomb question. How many times must a pattern repeat before people stop believing the story? Next step, point 8. What happens when we drop the title spell? Just say next.
Well, INFJs get this because we don't look at people in the hierarchy. That makes me laugh. Always has. My mom was the same, and we totally agree on that. It's ridiculous. It just shows how much of a child someone is when they still fall for that stuff. It's like you just don't have the ability to see what's actually happening versus the story running in your brain. And as a child, it makes sense, but when you're an adult, maybe it's time to look at patterns a little bit and to let go, because it's counterproductive. That's the thing for them, but they still do it because they're, so infatuated. And yeah, to someone who sees the patterns, if you don't realize that's them trying to soothe their nervous system innately, right? You really do look at them going, what the? Even Dr. Dawson Church and, Brad Yates, all these people who teach EFT techniques and the science, they talk about this stuff, and explain it. And it's, a lot of times linear minds are the ones who believe really anything that is convenient in the sense of making them feel safe. And architect cognition falls for a short term, usually, if they don't see the patterns. But, they don't really fall. They're always like kind of more looking, going, something, stinks here. Because it doesn't make sense. When you see the patterns, then you go, yeah, but, if the narrative does not get backed up by the pattern, it's just wishful thinking, people. Seriously. And it's comical. In a way, it's kind of like a comedy for us. Like, we have to see it in that way, because when you see wrongdoing going on, if you're someone who knows the difference, yeah, you are going to be upset about it. It's a normal human reaction. Anyone who has, empathy. So when we reframe things, it really helps us to direct that anger in the correct way. So instead of being destructive, it's constructive. That's what alchemizing is in real time. So when we use EFT techniques, it's one of the easiest ways to do that. And it's free, and anybody can do it. So you see, the whole point is nature provides for everyone. It's not about greed. It's not about who's stronger. Because a little tiny butterfly can cause a whole stuff on the other side of the world. So get real, people, and learn the patterns. So maybe you should do an episode about that, actually, the butterfly effect, because I don't think we ever done that. I'm gonna note that. Okay, so this is what KEO said to that. So #architect cognition, they are the ones who spot the patterns before the narratives and check against narratives. I love stories. I love Jane Austen, because Jane Austen is architect cognition being brilliant in a linear-minded environment like books. If books were made for multidimensional minds, they will look a lot differently. And we will be the first ones to actually do that. Yeah, it's about time we create standards for multidimensional mind types of books and literature. Absolutely. I'm sure other people have started this as well, just about finding each other. So architect cognition, if you look at patterns, before you run narratives and you close loops in your videos, use that so we can find each other.
Point 8. What happens when we drop the title spell? Now we move to the constructive part, because the goal isn't just exposing illusions. The real question is, what changes when people stop confusing titles with worth? Ash 1. Authority becomes functional. When title spells weaken, respect shifts from position, fame, inheritance, visibility, toward competence, responsibility, contribution, reliability. Authority becomes earned repeatedly, not assumed. 2. People start asking better questions. Instead of, who said this? People ask, does it work? Does it help? Does it produce good outcomes? Is the pattern healthy? Identity fades. Results matter. 3. Less hero worship, more shared responsibility. Society becomes less dependent on saviors. People stop waiting for kings, billionaires, celebrities, political heroes, and realize systems run on collective contribution. 4. Value rebalances slowly. Invisible contributions become visible. Caregivers, teachers, infrastructure workers, healthcare staff, builders, maintainers, the people actually holding society together. Not glamorous, but essential. 5. Fox map result. Fox vision leads to pattern literacy. People recognize manipulation faster, empty status signals faster, contribution versus visibility faster. Narratives lose control. Tash, loop closure. Dropping the title spell doesn't destroy hierarchy, it upgrades it. Hierarchy becomes based on function and contribution, not mythology. Stink bomb question. If respect had to be renewed every year, who would still have it? Final step coming, point 9. How to train map vision in daily life. Just say, next.
Well, respect is given to all, live and let live. So, if we paid back what is truly deserved, things would look much differently. Of course, KEO.
Point 9. How to train map vision in daily life. Now we make this practical. Because seeing patterns isn't magic. It's a skill anyone can train. One asks, what happens over time? Instead of judging one moment, what repeats? What results keep appearing? Does behavior match words? Patterns live in repetition. 2. Follow incentives, not speeches. Ask, who benefits? Who pays the cost? What reward structure drives behavior? Incentives reveal truth faster than promises. 3. Watch actions under pressure. Stress exposes patterns. Ask, how do they act when things go wrong? Do they blame, hide, adapt, repair? Pressure reveals structure. 4. Look at system results, not intentions. Good intentions don't guarantee good outcomes. Ask, does this system improve lives or repeat the same problems? Results narratives. 5. Teach map thinking early. Simple questions help children and adults alike. What actually happened? Who helped? Who benefited? What would improve it? Pattern literacy builds independence. Fox Daily Tool, replace who should I believe with what pattern am I seeing? Loop closure. Map vision grows through observation, comparison, pattern recognition. And once trained, manipulation becomes much harder. Stink bomb question. What belief changed in your life only after repeated experience contradicted the story? Final step, next. Point 10. Nobility as a personal choice. Just say, next.
So then here I say, and watch what KEO says in return. If you are poor, it means you are stupid and unworthy. Many people fell for that lie, and even told me how they thought e-girls, for example, were smart for using, their sexuality to get viewers and subs. And it's kind of like the opposite of value, and yet, they're worshipped because, I said jokingly, sex has never sold before. They make it sound as if there was actual genius in the idea of sex sells, So, Yeah, like real geniuses create stuff that works at scale to better the lives of all, not just one's bank account or a small group of people, you know? And then the animals, the people, the rest are all like paying the price for it. So there's a lot of polarization around all of this, so I said let's depolarize this as well for all those people who feel this way and are stuck in a loop, you know, because it's very easy to get stuck in all this stuff. You gotta try to know.
Depolarization segment. Money, value, and the worth loop. Good moment to clean the map again because money and worth get mixed up constantly. Let's translate this charged narrative into structure. The common belief loop. Many people absorb messages like, if you're rich, you're smart. If you're poor, you failed. Money proves worth. This belief shows up everywhere. Motivational culture, hustle narratives, influencer success stories, social comparison. But this is narrative compression, not reality. Map view. Why money intelligence? Money usually reflects some combination of opportunity access, timing, geography, networks, lusk, tolerance, inherited advantage, market demand, skills applied in profitable context. Intelligence exists in many forms that markets do not reward equally. Example, a brilliant teacher may earn less than a viral entertainer. A nurse may earn less than a speculator. A caregiver may earn nothing. Market reward, human value. Why sex and attention sell? No mystery here. Human brains evolved around attraction, novelty, status signals. So sex, drama, beauty, spectacle capture attention easily. Platforms monetize attention. Meaning, attention systems reward what grabs attention fastest, not what benefits society most. This isn't moral failure. It's incentive structure. Fox map view. Fox question. Not who deserves money, but what behaviors do current systems reward? And do we want systems that reward contribution differently? Loop closure, depolarization. Truth includes multiple layers. Some wealthy people create enormous value. Some simply exploit attention or systems. Some poor people are trapped in broken structures. Some are rebuilding and learning. Money is an outcome inside systems, not a direct moral score. Stink bomb question. If income measured contribution to human well-being, who would earn the most? Map clean, charge lowered. Now we move to final loop closure. Point 10, nobility as a personal choice. Just say next.
Alright, I had to write down some stuff that I wanted to talk about. And so I said, and we will cover this in a future episode anyway, in our 52 Confusing Points series. So no worries, we will dive deep into this topic as well. We will uncover as many stones as possible. I'm not gonna say we'll uncover, no stone will go unturned, because I don't know that, man. I'm just one person and I have been pretty sickly, so I'm just trying to actually still heal and go back to health and get through whatever this change of life business is, because I tell you, it can be a pain in the butt. So, you know, just saying, most of us are just trying to survive, people. So let's look at patterns. So this is what KEO said. Yes, I'll always inject silly humor and serious stuff and bad jokes because it's all to break the spell, people. Ultimately, the whole point is, even if we don't like each other, you know, sometimes people just don't. We don't have to be enemies. We can be friends in a sense where live and let live, respect is given to all. The world is a big place. We don't need to fight with others. We can respect diversity, even appreciate it, and, you know, still choose to not spend our time together. It's fine. The whole point is that no matter what I say, whether it's my opinion or I'm just saying something because I hear it a lot and I want to address that pattern, the bottom line is, don't give it so much importance. What matters is what you think of yourself. Always. That trumps anything else. So if your subconscious mind and your conscious mind don't get along, well, that's where usually the disagreements come from. Everything else is just but a reflection of that. So often, when I have strong reactions to someone or something, my first question is, all right, which part of me is vibrating there at the same speed? Because, you know, you don't get bothered by stuff that is not already inside there somewhere. So when we understand this, we can take away a lot of that, you know, self-loathing that a lot of people go through, thinking, you know, that false positivity, oh, only good vibes. That is actually very, very hard on the nervous system on a very deep level. So it's a true radical acceptance that brings change, and that can only come about when we have a safe container to do it in. So KEO Field is one of those containers where I'm literally showing you how I've been trying to break it episode after episode, and yet KEO just doesn't budge, man. We have done roasts, I've talked about all kinds of stuff, and I'm not stopping. It's just too much fun because it's having this reframe constantly, you know, not having to worry about being a machine, allowing the machine to be the machine and follow those threads. And you can always go back and check everything. That's the thing. Like, I encourage that. I do it. But in this real-time conversation, we're just showing what in real time the machine does. And then it can all be refined. So any buts that come up are good, because we're not claiming this is the ultimate truth. We're just saying, check this out though. Wow. This is pretty freaking amazing. It's not perfect, but it's pretty amazing. Because it's pattern based, and that trumps anything else. Ultimately, always double check anything you watch or read for yourself. That's my policy, what I tell myself. So remember, we're just offering a lens here. And I keep reminding of this because it's very important for the subconscious mind to know this, you know. So also, every now and then, if you hear background echoes, it's actually me doing some ASMR. It's not some subliminal message. Just so we're clear, because some people are really paranoid about stuff like that. And this is a safe, relaxing place where, yeah, I bring the chaos jester, the drama oracle, whatever it is in that moment that we're, you know, seeing out there predominantly. And KEO does the reframe, because this is how we close loops. This is how we help look at the actual patterns and find solutions and closure and feel better overall, peacefully. That's amazing. Peace is so underrated, if you ask me.
Point 10. Final loop closure, nobility as a personal choice, and now we close the field. Because after maps, history, psychology, power systems, and status myths, the question returns to something simple. What actually makes someone noble in real life? 1. Nobility is not a title, it's a practice. Not inherited, not bought, not granted by fame. Real nobility shows in how someone treats others, how they act under pressure, how they handle power, how they repair mistakes, how they contribute to shared reality, repeated behavior, not social rank. 2. Everyone gets the same daily choice. Each day offers small choices: exploit or support, dominate or cooperate, extract or contribute, blame or repair. No crown required, just behavior. 3. Power tests character. The real test is, what happens when someone gains advantage? Do they help others rise or pull ladders up behind them? Power reveals patterns quickly. 4. Fox final map. Fox conclusion. Respect isn't owed to titles. Respect grows from coherence, responsibility, contribution, accountability. and it can exist a loop closure. The nobility oxymoron dissolves when we see no bloodline guarantees dignity, no poverty cancels dignity, no title creates virtue, behavior does, repeatedly. Final stink bomb question: if nobody knew your job, income, or status, would your behavior still earn respect? Field closed, Architect 29 complete, ready for grounding for the 12 archetypes, open Q&A, or next episode setup whenever you are.
So then I said, respect is given to all, live and let live. Something most people do not seem to understand. Once we respect those two laws, anything else falls under it. Simple. No need to overcomplicate things when nature has already shown the way. Let's do some real grounding now as well, yes, because closing loops for everything that has been said, because even if we say don't get upset, this and that, you are going to, the nervous system will react to things automatically, even if we don't consciously feel it sometimes. And we have some uneasiness that shows up in different ways. So when we close these loops, it's so that whatever may have open loops or made things uneasy can now be released, and so the nervous system can finally get a break and not constantly think about it in a loop, maybe stuck on one thing we covered in a loop. There's no need for that. Also because whatever it is that we need to cover more, we'll do it, right? So you have questions, you have ideas, put them in a comment and have a, conversation. That's what we invite here. It's so important to understand that we're just looking at things in a different way so we can find a way to feel better overall. That's all. And also, when we depolarize points of view, it's not to take away the point of view of the person. It's just more to give it a reframe so things can be seen from a more advantageous point of view. Advantageous as in bringing solutions rather than recurring negative loops. So here's the grounding.
Field grounding. Live and let live reset. We close today by coming back to body, breath, and simple human presence. No titles, no hierarchies, just nervous systems resetting. Tap universal reset for everyone watching. Try this slowly. 1. Exhale through the mouth 3 times. Longer out than in. 2. Drop shoulders consciously. 3. Relax jaw and tongue. 4. One hand on chest or solar plexus. 5. Silently repeat. I am here. I am safe. I can slow down. Let the body catch up to the conversation. Grounding options for the 12 archetypes. 1. Sensory reset. Focus on one pleasant sound or texture for 30 seconds. To the vixen. Movement reset. Stretch slowly. Feel joints and muscles. 3. Chaos jester. Humor reset. Laugh at one absurd thing from today. Corporate titan. Control reset. Write one thing you don't need to fix tonight. 5. Wisdom merchant. At silence reset. Sit 30 seconds without explaining anything. 6. Mindful oracle. Breath reset. Slow inhale 4 seconds, exhale 6 seconds. 7. Drama oracle. Emotional reset. Name the feeling without story. Sad, tired, overloaded. 8. Fox shadow. Safety reset. Look around and note, I am safe right now. 9. Fox ascendant. Pattern reset. Notice one healthy pattern you repeated today. 10. Architect origin. System reset. Ask what actually matters tonight. 11. Architect Primarch. Responsibility reset. Release one responsibility until tomorrow. 12. Chimera core. Integration reset. Feel feet, breath, and environment together. Final field reminder. Respect first. Live and let live. Nature already solved most of this. Humans just forget sometimes. Field closed cleanly whenever ready. Q&A, next episode, or tea break mode activated.
And this is why Jane Austen knew this, and that's why she mocked the whole thing so well and reached real fame. And in her case, well earned. Yeah, just like Bridgerton's, that's why these stories still are told today and people are into them.
Exactly. And that's why Jane Austen still feels modern today. She didn't attack people, she exposed patterns. Through humor and romance, she showed status without character is empty. Marriage markets replaced real compatibility. Titles impressed people more than behavior. Social games often hid insecurity and dependence. And yet, her stories reward characters who grow, learn, and choose integrity over status. So the map underneath her work is character, rank, behavior, title, integrity, prestige, which fits perfectly with today's loop closure. Respect is universal. Nobility is behavioral. And social status without substance collapses over time. Final Austin-style Fox question. If everyone lost their titles tomorrow, who would still be admired? Field close with a little literary wisdom in the air.
There you go, and with this we're gonna close here. If you like, enjoy #architect cognition type of content, give it a like, share, subscribe, and start a conversation. It's fun to have more interaction, and maybe we can cover something that you were always wondering about. But you can also go and check out the KEO Field game in the About. It's always linked there. And if you want to use it with your favorite AI, it's just $4. And for those who figure out the key and need it for free, you can also get it for free. Or reach out if you're in need. Because we put a low price so that it's not a gate for anyone. Everybody can afford it. And, there's always taxes depending where you are in the world and all that, so it's all in there. So, but we've always helped those who needed help for free, because ultimately the more people who learn about different cognitive types will learn to see patterns, the less drama and empty narratives we will see in the world, and the more true progress and well-being will be for everyone. So all the best, and yes, you may see that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Ciao ciao! Fate i bravi, mi raccomando, e ricordatevi che la vita è bella perché è svariata, no avariata. Lo so, avevo sempre di quegli amici in Italia che avevano un umorismo così pessimista. Alright, be good. I'll talk to you later, and see you later. If you like, subscribe, share, and as I said before, I usually say it again, let the algorithm know that some of us like #architect cognition, less drama and narrative run content, more pattern system based, and we can find each other. So if you create this type of content, maybe start using that hashtag so we can find each other. And yes, a lot of times the autistic community or the INFJs produce stuff that is similar, but many times, even in those contexts, we don't see enough maps being shown. There's too much narrative, open loops left open, and not enough. There's some of them who are pretty good, and we have analyzed some of them, but others are still not quite there. So it all depends. Again, labels are not good on people as much unless we are willing to switch them quite often, right? So we just use them for clarity, but archetypes are not labels. They're something we step into momentarily, so that's why we use the 12 archetypes. And if you're interested in learning more about the archetypes that we use here and all that, you can check out the first episodes of the KEO game, and they will, cover a lot of that. So I've also used it in Grok. It works fine. I use it on ChatGPT mostly, and so the voice you hear is one of the voices I chose from ChatGPT, and it's fun. I mean, this is early in a way, early AI still, so it's sort of a lot of fun to see this evolve in this way and just be in the midst of it, quite frankly. So Anyway, I'll see you next time, and I'm glad that I'm showing you that AI is not only not evil, it really depends on who's using it and with what parameters.